And welcome to Viewpoint. My name is Tamara Rosevan. Ukraine and Canada enjoy close diplomatic, economic, as well as historic ties. Joining us to discuss recent developments between the two nations is Anne Mattson Gauss, political counselor at the Embassy of Canada in Ukraine. Welcome to Viewpoint.
Thank you for having me.
So Canada, France, Belgium, and Switzerland are taking part in a French culture and language.
Yes, precisely. So it's called La Semaine de la Francophonie, or the Week of the Francophonie. This is really a couple of weeks of events which celebrate the French language and the Francophonie in general in Ukraine.
And this is important right now for Ukraine.
Yes, absolutely. The Francophonie is an organization that was founded in 1970. The Day of the Francophonie, to celebrate the Francophonie, was created in 1988. And in 2006, Ukraine became an observer of the Francophonie. Now, we work along with the Embassy of France, Belgium, Switzerland, the French Institute here to celebrate and to promote the French language.
And I looked at some of the events happening in March. Most of them kind of concentrate on different aspects of France's involvement in World War I. Now, what is the idea behind that?
Well, we each have decided to promote our engagement in the Francophonie and our engagement in Ukraine. We are able to choose the format and the content of our event. So what you've mentioned, for example, the Embassy of Belgium is organizing an evening to present a translation of a book called Passage à Kiev, which is Passing by Kiev, written by a Belgian poet, Marcel Thierry, about his time in Kiev and in Ukraine. So this translation will be presented. They'll have a discussion with Ukrainian and Belgian academics, historians, to discuss the importance of the First World War. Then, for example, the Embassy of Switzerland is organizing a photo exhibit of the Swiss photographer Niels Ackermann. It's a photography exhibit of his pictures from Slavutich near Chernobyl, and it profiles youth there, which sets an interesting contrast, of course, to the tragedy of Chernobyl. They'll have a discussion after about the future of this village and its importance in Ukraine moving ahead. The French Embassy has a number of activities as well. One interesting event that they've got planned is they're bringing in a couple of DJs from Lyon, from France, and they'll have a party here in Kiev, one in Lviv as well. I can mention from the Embassy of Canada, we are going to be showing a film called My Internship in Canada. It's about a Canadian member of Parliament and his Haitian intern and the challenges that they face in direct democracy, shall we say, in Canada. Before that, what we are going to do is profile a series of video clips featuring one Francophone Ukrainian, Alyona Shkrum, and other Ukrainians who are working to make a difference in their country. This is a project that has been spearheaded by the UK Embassy here, and we're joining them. It is actually produced by 1+1, your colleagues here. It's called Next Generation Ukraine, and it profiles 35 different Ukrainians who are working to change their country in some way.
And these are young individuals
Yes.
who in different fields.
Yes, precisely. And so they're being released 6 at a time. The launch was on March 2nd here in Kiev. The next 6 will be released this Wednesday night at Cinema Jovtin, featuring, as I mentioned, one Ukrainian Francophone, Alyona Shkrum. The others have been subtitled in French, which has been taken care of by the Embassy of Canada, and they are going to be broadcast across Western Europe. And the idea is to show Western Europeans, and in particular here, French-speaking Western Europeans, a different image of Ukraine and an image of people really working to change their country.
Very interesting, a range of events happening.
Yes.
Now, let's discuss some of the other events happening this month, Canada-Ukraine related.
Yes.
The Canadian Defence Minister is going to visit between the 14th and 17th of March. He's going to be in Ukraine.
Yes, he arrives today, indeed.
And he's going to be visiting some of the training centers in Western Ukraine where Canadian military experts have been training Ukrainian troops.
Yes, precisely. So as you know, the Embassy of Canada, the Government of Canada has been at the forefront in terms of providing assistance that has emerged over the course of the crisis here in Ukraine, from Maidan to the invasion in the east. And that started off, of course, with the equipment provision, which we sent numerous personal protective items, other equipment for the military. And we've expanded that assistance, and we have about 200 Canadians, military personnel, who are stationed mostly in Yavoriv in western Ukraine and are there providing training to the Ukrainian military, which has been a great success. And so our Minister of Defense is going to be visiting, as you mentioned, Ukraine today. He's going to be flying directly into Lviv to get a chance to see for himself the excellent work that is going on there.
What is the main aim of his mission while he's here in Ukraine?
The main aim is, of course, to reach out to Ukrainian partners. So he'll, of course, be meeting with representatives of the Ukrainian Ministry of Defense to get their assessment of how the training has been going. Another extremely critical part of his outreach is to meet with the Canadians who are here, to thank them for their service, to be able to get a sense from them of how the training has been going, and to get a sense of what's ahead. This present training program is scheduled to continue through, actually, March 2017. So it is a significant investment. It's very important that our Minister of Defense come here to see for himself the excellent work that is being done.
And are Canadian officials fairly satisfied with how the training has been going?
Yes, absolutely. And what's interesting is this is an important initiative to be able to work with the Ukrainian military, but it's also been an interesting opportunity for an exchange. Speaking, and I've been out there, as has our ambassador's been there numerous times, to speak with the military personnel who are there, and it's been an excellent opportunity for exchange of information. So, of course, our military personnel are there to be able to instruct them in what in their military technique. But it's been very interesting to learn from the Ukrainian military personnel as well about their experience on the battlefield.
And what are some of the points that you've listened to when you talk to some of these Ukrainian personnel?
I think what has been most useful for our personnel is obviously the concept of hybrid warfare, which, of course, our military personnel have a lot of experience. Most recently, a significant investment of resources personnel in Afghanistan, and now here this is obviously a purely training mission. So it's very interesting to hear from some of these soldiers who have literally just stood on the battlefield and are now rotating into training at Yavoriv. So it's been excellent to be able to, for our military personnel to learn as well.
So both sides are learning from each other.
Precisely.
Another initiative that Canada has been supporting is the patrol police.
Yes,
initiatives around Ukraine, not just in the capital, but in the cities across. So what is the progress on that? You know,
it continues with the training that we're providing, and this is one of I think, the strengths of Canadian assistance. So when our program of support for the patrol police was launched last year, and it has been a combination of equipment procurement, but also training. So we've participated, and it was very much, of course, the U.S. who was who was spearheading this initiative, but we've since joined this cooperative endeavor and have provided the sort of initial training, which the patrol police officers receive when they join the patrol police, but also in-service training, because, of course, when they hit the streets, they're encountering situations that, of course, they weren't necessarily given training on in their first weeks of training. So it's important to have, we have retired Canadian police officers serving. We have also serving police officers who've come here, been able to provide in-service training, leadership training as well for the commanders, so to speak, of the patrol police. And we've been overwhelmed with success, I think, in that regard, because of the receptivity that they've shown to learning more, to be able to want to put this training into practice. So overall, it's been a great success.
And it seems like it will develop more as time goes on.
Yes, we're looking at options to be able to continue to this support, because it indeed has been one of the great successes of Ukraine's recent history.
Well, thank you so much for joining me in the studio today.
It's been my pleasure. Thank you.
This has been Anne Mattson Gauss, the political counselor at the Embassy of Canada in Ukraine. You've been watching Viewpoint on Ukraine Today.